you remember Billy Hargrove. The swagger, the sneer, the way he seemed to carve a space in a room with sheer, aggressive will. The hair, the clothes, the posture, a living challenge. He's a character, of course, a figure from a story we all know. But he lives in our cultural imagination for a reason. He represents a type, the bad boy, the one who leads with his anger, who communicates through dominance, whose vulnerability is so deeply buried it might as well not exist. We've seen him, or versions of him, everywhere. On screen, in school hallways, maybe in our own pasts. We fear him, judge him, sometimes even romanticize him, but we rarely understand him. So let's talk about him. Not about the monsters he fought or the specific plot points he navigated. Those belong to his story. Let's talk about the human monster he carried inside, the one made of pain, not of supernatural design. Think of his presence. It wasn't just confidence, it was a territorial claim. The way he stood, coiled like a spring, his eyes scanning for threat or weakness, usually in others, because to see it in himself would be catastrophic. His anger was a first language, a mother tongue of harsh words and harder glances. Silence, for someone like that, isn't peace. It's a simmering pot, a gathering storm. He used control like a weapon because the alternative, helplessness, was the deepest terror. This is not an excuse for cruelty. It is a map, a geological survey of a landscape formed by seismic emotional shifts. The aggression, the defensiveness, the emotional frost. These are not personality traits. They are survival traits. They are the scar tissue over wounds that never got to heal because the world, in some form, never stopped pressing on them. Imagine a childhood where softness was punished, where tears were met with scorn, fear with impatience, need with neglect or worse. In an environment like that, a child doesn't learn emotional vocabulary. They learn emotional camouflage. If expressing hurt gets you more hurt, you stop expressing it. If showing fear makes you a target, you learn to show anger instead. Anger is powerful. It pushes people away. It builds walls. It makes you feel, for a terrifying moment, like you are the one holding the leash on the chaos. So the hurt child learns to speak a new language, the language of dominance, of deflection, of preemptive strikes. They build a fortress of "don't mess with me," and they live inside it, alone. The world sees the formidable walls and calls them a bad boy. They don't see the small, scared sentry standing guard on the battlements, terrified to ever stand down. And here is where the story stops being about a character on a screen, and perhaps, if we are honest, starts to turn its gaze gently inward. Because this architecture of self-protection isn't unique to the Billy Hargroves of the world. It is a human blueprint. The materials change. For some, it's not a leather jacket and a sneer. It's a relentless work ethic, a perfected persona, a wall of sarcasm, a habit of people-pleasing that quietly erases the self. The intensity varies, but the function is identical. To keep the world at a safe distance, to manage the terrifying variable of other people's emotions, to protect a core that learned, long ago, that it was not safe to be seen. So let's talk about you. Not the you show the world, but the quiet, observant one behind your own eyes. The one who maybe recognizes that flicker of defensive heat in your chest when you're criticized, even lightly. The one who builds subtle walls when someone gets too close, not with fists, but with withdrawal, with busyness, with a sudden chill in your tone. The one who feels a deep, unspoken exhaustion from the constant, internal pressure to be strong, to be fine, to never let them see the crack in the armor. You may never have raised your voice in anger, but perhaps you've perfected the silent treatment, which is just anger turned to ice. You may never have sought to dominate a room, but perhaps you rigidly control your own schedule, your own diet, your own image, because the feeling of control is the only thing that quiets the anxiety. Your fortress might be immaculately decorated, well-respected, and high-achieving. But if you cannot leave it without fear, it is still a prison. We adopt these strategies so young, they become us. We forget we are wearing armor. We think it's our skin. We mistake the survival strategy for our personality. I'm just a control freak. I'm just sarcastic. I'm just the strong friend. And we wear these labels, these identities forged in old fires, as if they were fate, but they are not. They are adaptations. Brilliant, painful, life-saving adaptations for the world you were in then. The problem is, you might not live in that world anymore, but the defense system is still on full alert, scanning for threats that are no longer there, responding to echoes. You push away love because it once left. You preemptively anger because it once hurt less than surprise. You numb out because feeling once felt like drowning. Understanding this is not about assigning blame to your past, to your parents, to the world. It is about claiming power, the power of awareness. Because in the space between the trigger and your reaction, that sliver of a second where the old program starts to run, there is a doorway. That doorway is choice. Real strength is not found in the suppression of feeling or in the explosive dominance over others. Real, quiet, unshakable strength is found in that doorway. It's the strength to feel the old panic rise and to say, I see you, but I am safe now. It's the strength to feel the urge to shut down or strike out, and to instead take a breath that feels like oxygen in a room you've kept sealed for years. It's the courage to mistake vulnerability for weakness and to try it anyway. To say, that hurt my feelings. To say, I need help. To say, I am scared. This is the slow, unglamorous, profoundly brave work of redrawing the blueprint. It doesn't happen in a montage. It happens in 1,000 tiny moments. It's the moment you feel the familiar, icy withdrawal coming on, and you choose to stay present just for one more minute. It's the moment you hear the sharp, defensive retort forming in your mind, and you choose to soften it just by a degree before it leaves your lips. It's the moment you look at your own need for control over a situation, over a person, over your own perfect performance, and you consciously, agonizingly, loosen your grip. Just a little. You are not breaking. You are unbuilding. You are dismantling the fortress, brick by brick, and learning to live in an open field. It will feel terrifying. The wind will feel too loud, the space too wide. You will feel exposed. That feeling is not a sign you are wrong. It is a sign you are alive in a new way. The parts of you that built the walls did an incredible job. They saved you. You can thank them, honor them, and then, with gentle firmness, tell them they can stand down. The war is over. Now, it's time to learn how to build a home, not a fortress. A home with windows that let in light and a door that can both open and close, but from a place of choice, not fear. This is your story now. It began with a recognition, a figure on a screen who embodied a pain we all, in our secret hearts, might recognize a fragment of. But it ends here, in the quiet of your own awareness. You are not your armor. You are the one who can choose to take it off. Not all at once, with a dramatic clang, but piece by piece, in the soft, private moments of your life. Each conscious breath is a step out of that old, dark castle. Each gentle choice toward connection is a lantern lighting the path home. The journey is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning, at last, to who you were before the world convinced you that you needed walls to survive. It is about meeting that soft, unarmored self in the open field, and finally, after all this time, saying, it's okay. You are safe now. We can stay here. And in that quiet, you will find a strength that no aggression could ever mimic, and a peace that no dominance could ever secure.